just to have enough sustain both mana and HP to be able to shove the wave enough to keep up with Caitlyn, who's kind of the king at wave clear. You got Piltover Peacemaker into just 650 range auto attacks. It's big fan of both Oysters and these Runes and Masteries coming out. So these are not necessarily always correct. You can see exactly the same rune page. So I think we're actually going to switch to the page he's running on live. This is, I believe that is 14% attack speed, 9 armor, 12 magic resistance, and 8.5, I believe that is armor penetration. So I'm not sure if that is actually the rune page that GBM is running, but as far as his masteries are concerned, still exactly the same situation, or at least these are, I believe, the same runes as last time as well. Runes and masteries not always completely accurate, but at least for this setup, that's 2163, and we already talked about how that was the more sustain heavy pick because you get those 3 extra points in on, excuse me, on your opponent. So at least for the time being, we're going to switch things over and check out Bang's masteries. Same situation as we saw last game, so I'm not sure if these have actually changed over. 2190, a fairly safe way to play, and I would expect at least one of these rune sets to be wrong, given that of course, you know, Azir typically doesn't use physical damage in his. Alright, getting into game number 3, blind pick ganked by Mom versus Bang. 1 win apiece, and of course now Azir taking on Bang's Caitlyn. And we already talked about how Caitlyn, kind of the king of the 1v1 matchups, at least so far in the Solo King. Champion that we haven't seen draw too many losses, but of course being given a loss, Bang will take that champion away from GBM and kind of show him how it's done. Of course, a little bit of a different situation here versus Azir. You can see Bang not afraid at all of just walking forward, auto-attacking GBM down. He's going to take him down below half HP. I think Bang is fairly confident in winning this 1v1 matchup. He's even taking a couple of turret shots just to dish out extra damage to turret. GBM, if he flashes in on here, of course, that would be really remarkable considering that he doesn't actually have that summoner spell. Every time I look over towards the side, I see our spectators, Chuds and Shu, and they both have flash, so I'm like, oh, he somehow managed to bring flash, heal, and teleport. But no Dr. Terribles in this game. I think that was Dr. Terrible that had all the summoner spell shenanigans going on. But either way, it was actually, it's going to be heal for both players, and I would expect actually a barrier for GBM. It's a great way to avoid ace in the hole damage. Summoner heal doesn't give you quite as much sustain as barrier, but it's a lot easier to bait out barriers. In fact, we actually saw that a lot yesterday. When it came down to it, using barrier early is something that your opponents will try to bait out and then just stop dealing damage to you, which I guess is okay as far as you know, strategy if you want to just stop dealing damage to somebody. But at the same time, once barrier wears off, you just take you have no more sustain after that. Summoner heal gives you that health, and you'll keep it as long as you're not under the effects of Ignite, which shouldn't really be a factor this game, given the presence of teleport, rendering Ignite somewhat of an unheard of summoner spell now. I'm interested in seeing exactly how this last inning goes underneath turret for GBM, because survey says it is going to suck. With Bang's ability to both harass underneath turret with 650 auto attack range, the mana disadvantage that GBM is going to have at summoning Sand Soldiers, while he does have a small sustained advantage as far as mana is concerned with that pickup on a mana potion early on, Bang's primarily just going to be auto-attacking, which, unlike Freedom, is actually going to be free. Bang, unfortunately, walking into Sand Soldier auto-attack range a couple of times. It's a headshot onto ganked by Mom, so that's what you're going to want to see from Bang, just auto-attacking as much as he can to shove the wave in and walking forward for those headshot procs. Now, great job by ganked by Mom to be able to dish out a lot of harass, but at the same time, he's going to have to watch out for this minion wave. If he gets this minion wave shoved underneath turret too many times, that could kind of spell disaster. Bang dropping down very low in HP, but I don't think he's going to be too worried about this, just because he does have so much sustain in his inventory. And of course, he's using his actual flat health potions right now because he dropped a little bit lower in HP, but he should be using crystalline flash charges a little bit later on. GBM unfortunately almost out of mana, and Bang seems to have sustained through, at least weathered most of this storm. GBM going to miss one of those CS underneath turret, and currently a 3 CS advantage here for Bang. Piltover Peacemakers continuing to land, but now we're going to see GBM get a little bit of extra mana back here, starting his Crystalline Blast charges coming out, but mana will be the big limiting factor here. Bang continuing to hit those Piltover Peacemakers too, even though he's maybe a little bit more limited on mana overall. His damage comes from just auto-attacking. Whereas GBM's going to come from a little bit of auto-attacking of his own. The only problem is once he runs out of mana, he doesn't actually have any way to get it back. If you start with the Doran's Ring, at least you have the ability to gain mana back by just being really good at CS, which theoretically you would already be if you're in a 1v1 tournament. Every single CS matters, and GBM, I think, is actually going to try to prioritize shoving this wave out, but look at Bang just getting continual auto attacks down. Just so difficult to deal with. GBM finally dodging that Piltover for Peacemaker, but at the end of the day, no mana, creating a lot of problems here. And of course, Bang may be a little bit lower on HP, but is not going to have to worry about being low on HP when he doesn't have to worry about actually taking damage. GBM forced to last it under his turret, something that fortunately will just not be possible for those minions coming in. It's just the most unfortunate differential. Now, I think for GBM, what he's going to attempt is to go back to base, buy 1 or possibly 2 Doran's Rings, come back into lane and go for an all-in on a Bang, because he just gave up almost 10 CS by being forced to go back to base, heal, buy his double Doran's Ring, and then come back into lane. Now, he actually wound up giving only away like 3 to 5 CS. I didn't completely count that, but 26 versus 45, a 9 CS differential here at 5.5 minutes is not where you want to find yourself in the deciding game in this best of 3 series. So keep in mind with teleports, yeah, now going to be used for both players. Will we see a CS victory, or will it be decided here now that Ganked by Mom has got his 2 Doran's Rings versus the of course 2 Doran's Blades for Bang. No CDR, unfortunately, in a lot of this build for GBM, whereas you'd see a lot of Azir's build up into things like Morellonomicon, maybe a Chalice of Harmony in some matchups, of course not versus AD here, but with the inability to buy any blatant CDR items, it's just going to have to rely on the ability power for Doran's Rings to combo with his passive to supply him with a little bit of extra attack speed. Bang taken down dangerously though, and at this point GBM might actually have a win condition if he's able to get just far enough in range. Bang can't actually get near this this creep wave. Now he'll be pushing it in, which is kind of the worst situation. Oh, GBM is actually going to freeze the creep wave right next to his turret. I wouldn't say right next to his turret, but just out of range. Force Bang to overextend, and as soon as GBM gets forward enough, he's going to be either able to use Summoner Heal to get behind Bang, and Bang actually going to use that Summoner Heal to get back into range, looking for the ace in the hole. Now we do not have a Summoner Heal for GBM. He was forced to use that as well. Bang continuing to take a little bit of auto attack damage. Where are those Sand Soldiers? I have to keep at least one of them up and go for maybe even a second to win this trade. As far as auto attacks go, it's about a 10 CS advantage here for Bang. GBM's going to push him out of lane. His creeps are actually going to die. Will he be able to keep Bang out of lane? Bang actually coming in with a little bit of an HP advantage. Nice dodge there, and oh look, double Sand Soldiers coming in onto Bang. He's forced to run away, and while running around the map is completely legal, you cannot kill any minions as long as you're out of there. One last auto attack from Ganked by Mom. And it's Azir that'll pick up the 1v1 victory over Bang's Caitlyn. You can see the kind of the beginning of the end here as GBM gets nice positioning onto Bang, pushes him out of that mid lane, and Bang kind of running for his life here. I don't even think he had the move speed advantage, but just one dash in there, can't net out of that auto attack. That will be Ganked by Mom, winning game number 3, the victory over Bang.